So I just used the audio file My Movie 8, taken June 19th, 2022 at 10:39 a.m. Apparently it was a Sunday. And I'm gonna have the original at the end, but for the 19 minutes or so, I'm just gonna describe what I see. I'm gonna use the visuals to match my processing, and we'll see how I do. It's just practice. Thank you. The relationship is writer to dear reader. Who do you think of? Everyone knows dear reader. Google Critic. That's me. That's me in LinkedIn. This was before I had my name. I talked about Sharon DeMore. Okay, I talked about how I had to leave for PTSD. I was giving the methodology because I was struggling. I managed my recovery, injury, assault. I used every space to literally write about it. And that this was my trauma team. They said, do something familiar in an unfamiliar place or something unfamiliar in a familiar place. So I decided, after some great thought, to stay in my place, reclaim the space from what happened there. And I made the police report. Totally. This is where I'm at with that. What I'm trying to say is how to end non-consent filming must be live. Yeah, it's true. I did film a bunch of things, happy things. So that's me traveling. So traveling is huge. It's anticipation, it's packing, it's counting, it's going to a new place that isn't the same on your body physically. Having background music is really important. Asked to do all these things that I was never asked before. So things were different when I came back under this administration. Obviously that was insubordination. They're trying to get me to refuse to do something to leave. It was clear the resignation was their goal when they refused ADA accommodations of a bathroom and then just sent me a letter saying, if you don't show up, you resign. So I showed up. And I'm going to write this scene out because this scene is going to be a lot of fun. All right, just read all of this. Anyway, if you know anyone who could get those things to me, I'd be so appreciative. Is this the big books? Oh, right. This is the stuff I wrote over and over. Provided feedback meant a lot. I really enjoyed working with you, and the fact you created classwork and had interest in our students, asked questions and provided feedback meant a lot. Ew, I actually shared my non-for-profit. I'll be receiving donations. If you know I won't. It's to help market myself. You hear the voice, right? If you know I won't. I don't care. That's that rise in adrenaline. I'm uncomfortable because you have to market yourself. Every single time they seemed interested. Well, it wasn't about advocacy. It was about nothing. It's about stupid stuff. Okay, so there's the music in the background, which you can't hear, the word off. So I wrote the word off in these specific colors. Bricks, that's Janet Prow. Misspelled it. First time again, referring to somebody's excuse of it being their first time. They just did it way too many times. This was linked in the very beginning. This was on the wall of the DBT, which I thought was really great, but also super hypocritical because they were really instrumental in harming others. But the word community comes up later with Peter Holston and Alcott College. Alcott Forget. And there it is closer, community. At the end of this, which again, I put in a place I can check anytime. It's LinkedIn. It's at the very, very beginning when I realized I'm going to try to connect and remove the fear because these are professional people working in the healthcare system. So maybe I can go on here and notice that you can't find anyone. Nobody's on here and you can't write reviews for any department that really is going to be affected. And the people I spoke to were terrified to share their opinion. So, okay, most people I spoke to about this agreed that there's not a good way to really share recommendations unless it's online. And companies are able to remove any negative reviews because I wrote some and they were gone. One being Alcott College Prep. But now I think it's back up there. I don't know. Anyway, when it says what? Having fun now? Or wait, let me look at it again. Not having fun anymore. That was just people just always want to have fun, which meant go out drinking and have fun. Let's not get too serious. So no politics. And everyone knew how mind-numbing it was. And thank God for this scene that I'm going to write very, very soon. It's a bit of a complicated scene only because it's 3 events at once and it was like a boom, 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 fast repetition. Wrote my first paragraphs. Oopsies. Wrote my first paragraphs and heard my voice for the first time. So there's audio triggers, there's visual triggers, there's audio visual triggers, and then there's audio visual and tactile. Or just say tactile, because tactile to me is audio visual together. It's not just touch. Touch seems to ignite everything. So I know when I read, I hear it. And when I hear it, I see it. And now I'm really sensitive about touching and being touched. Does it matter if disinterest in touch is due to sensory needs or because you really don't want to be touched? What's the difference? So before Me Too was very clear. Don't touch me. Anyway, coming into focus is the board of director who yelled at me and who set off these series of events because I got to relive domestic violence beginning February 2021. It happened that quickly. And I had questioned the budget in November, December, January, February, and then they yelled. They used the accommodation list to pick and choose which one to terrify me because they said in the last meeting. So I'm going to write that scene as well. There's his name. Okay. And that's going to make sure I don't lose my name because I'm saying up to fear. He has to talk about CHA. How can you represent CHA when that's not allowed? You were just assigned it. I'm sweating because that's the words they said that they can absolutely do to you. All right, I would record my endocrine system quite often, but I don't have to anymore. But that's part of it. So I can visualize it and try to remove it. But what will help is creating better memories. So I was able to do a safe space. Oh, I did it around Thanksgiving. The seed against non-consent photo. That's what this video has been about. There's the date, November 25th, 2021. There's some light. Oh, the light of the... So that's what I see over and over. There is a reaction to it. So, for example, Prince Harry, I think he does probably respond negatively. He's also getting a stimulus from that light. So... I don't know. I think there is a negative response when it's negative, when it's not what you intend, and it's a positive response when it is meeting your expectation. Okay, I thought it was real risky to ask if they deleted emails, but I had to ask it. Either they'll reply yes or no, but the non-response is kind of like stating, yeah, we kind of did, but we don't know what to say to you. That's why when I wrote to the current part-time manager, when she wouldn't respond right away, I knew that something was up. Hey, where are you? Did the office hours change? Are you on your way? I just happened to be in the gym that day and noticed the time and thought, oh yeah, now I can ask her that question. No. Where we left off. I'll check my emails and we'll pick up where we left off. I'm going to have to do it publicly though because it's way too scary. Just meaning that that'll be how I feel safe because it'll be a recording so you stop changing the narrative. Okay. That helped. This was the realization that they really don't communicate well. And they kept sending things to the other email address, which was triggering me with the whole domestic violence again, because I was leaving all that behind and I had to let them know, hey, remember? So now are you doing it purposely? Because if you're doing it purposely, then that's really not a nice thing to do. Actually, it's kind of disturbing. I'm losing my thoughts, losing my voice here, but it clearly requires a little more attention. So we're just going to zoom through and say that these are the images, the issues connected to the board, the non-response. This isn't just me, it's other people, service request updates, and their response to mine. And again, as I kept showing up to these meetings and asking the questions, their responses, while detrimental to my recovery, was necessary for me to relive because I still don't get it. And then I got it. Oh, the money we vote for can go anywhere and you don't have to specify that. So the money we voted for, the $12,000 to the gym, went someplace else, just like the $50,000 for the landscaping. So where does it go? That's the issue. And if the person who is newly elected on the board doesn't get that, that's fine. But wasn't that the issue that brought us together? Because I was grateful that you showed up because the residents that showed up get the answers. And if they don't show up, then they do whatever they want, which is what the words of Parks District employees were to me. Really, you can just do whatever you want. Okay. So this was the original message sent to me because he was testing the computer system for connectability. So I just joined the board. He's trying to see who receives this because he didn't know the IT issues for how many months, how many years. Did they ever fully fix the communication system? So that was the issue. Do you communicate with the residents? Because they're saying they don't know when the meetings are. And if they don't know when the meetings are, they don't know when to attend. Because I heard the meetings here were really contentious from you guys. You said they were horrible because the residents had all these questions. And that kind of reminds me of Dave Michalowski. Okay, the words were pride in where I live. This was a previous board member who come to every meeting. I love listening to her because she was right and she sounded great. And she wanted the building interior painted. I saw some of the bad work done and the residents were upset because they're thinking they get to advertise themselves and yet they don't listen to the residents. We don't know when the meetings are. And when I spoke to employees, they were supposed to have some sort of evaluation. Oh, this is something regarding a question a resident had, and a board member just decided to just say no, decide not to, even though the rules suggest they are allowed to do that. So these were conversations that were very rare because sometimes the internal conversations were happening and I got yelled at for being included on one. But I did ask if there was some tutorial. Can you teach me how to use this? Like, what is the residency? What does this mean when I touch this? Does this mean it's private between you and I, or private between the property manager and I, you and I? How does this work? And they never responded. I asked them, residents at one point asked for a welcome package to know what numbers to call or who to contact. And they said, sure thing. And then they never did it. Then I inquired about it and they acted like, what are you talking about? Anyway, I doubt that resident's going to show up to another meeting. When I first joined, it was about savings money, because how to explain where this money went. So if I misunderstood that, then there was the issue with being economical, because you had to explain where these association fees were, or maybe the cost of the association, where the money goes. Maybe that was just it. It had nothing to do with the reserve budget. So I'm going to model the dialectic. Considering I went to every Zoom meeting, what do you call them? Annual, monthly association meetings, board of director meetings. Except for the last one when I'm triggering because of the inability to know if things are being recorded. So I have to rely on that if I have to go back and check your contradictions, which are constant. Why they keep adding up, it's compounded. So let's start with the office hours. I know this person doesn't work here anymore, but to tell me in an email that he manages 17 properties and then tells us in a meeting when I flat out asked him, he manages 3. Again, I go back to the board of directors where your standard of lying is different than mine. I don't like to be lied to. Also, to move someone to a different position, that way all their emails are deleted. I've already gone through this before, dealing with a parent with a child with special needs, where I asked, do you have any of those emails I sent you, those weekly updates? Oh no, I deleted those. Okay. What about your husband? Oh no, he changed jobs, so he doesn't have those emails anymore. Strange. When I'm looking at a school where parents and administration work in tandem because they're marketing this school. Now, they did get rid of the lottery and they did cram the school with neighborhood kids and they did put a sign for disability and maybe change the entrance. So that's great that they made those changes, but it's better if you acknowledge the question of safety and violation of rights with kids with special needs in the moment when I'm in a federal court case, because you've now not given them a classroom. That looks like you don't want the truth to be told and you can make up a narrative, and I don't like that. I like people to be honest, because honesty is the best way to figure out our issues and to deal with them. Right? All right. Thanks, y'all.